Good morning. If you have been following the news, then you probably heard that ABC has yanked Jimmy Kimmel Live off air indefinitely. And why? Because of comments Kimmel made about Charlie Kirk in the wake of his assassination. I have to tell you, it sickens me that anyone would even think to speak negatively about Charlie Kirk right now, let alone on national television. I have watched so many of his clips having debates on college campuses, and I have yet to come across one where I could say with a sound mind, I do not like this person, he is hateful, etc. So for those claiming that he deserved this, you are wickedly delusional. And I am not saying that Kimmel said any of these things. He did not. I'm just saying in general. Anyways, today we are going to unpack what happened, why this matters, and what it says about free speech versus business. Welcome to Nelly Miranda. On his show, Jimmy Kimmel claimed that many in MAGAland are working very hard to capitalize on the murder of Charlie Kirk. That was the line. That was the moment. To a lot of Americans, especially conservatives, that sounded like he was exploiting a tragedy to take a cheap shot at an entire movement. Take a listen.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
The backlash was immediate. ABC executives pulled the show off the air, citing insensitivity. But here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't just about ABC's internal policies. The FCC actually stepped in. Brendan Carr, the chairman, warned ABC about possible consequences, including threats to affiliate licenses. And then you had Chuck Schumer on the other side, saying that this was government pressure and hinting at lawsuits over free speech. So suddenly, this wasn't just about a late-night host cracking an off-color line joke. It became a constitutional fight. Take a listen to Chuck Schumer.
It is outrageous. It's a page right out of Xi's playbook. This is just despicable, disgusting, and against democratic values. Trump and his allies seem to want to shut down speech that they don't like to hear. That is not what democracies do. That is what autocracies do. And it doesn't matter whether you agree with Kimmel or not. He has the right to free speech. And so it is just outrageous. It is indicative of autocracy. And I am just outraged by it. Again, this is what dictators do. This is what Xi would do. This is what Putin would do. We are not that country.
I think Chuck Schumer is glossing over the timing here. Charlie Kirk was murdered. That's not just another headline. It is the loss of a human life. At a bare minimum, that should be a moment of respect, not a time for a late-night comedian to lump millions of people into a smear about opportunism. Whether you agree with Charlie's politics or not, he was a husband, a father, a friend to many, and quite influential to many young conservatives. And to suggest that conservatives were somehow capitalizing on his death isn't just offensive, it is cruel. Now, I want to be fair, because some people argue that Kimmel was just making a political observation, that his comments was clumsy, maybe harsh, but not malicious. Others say ABC has the right to set its own standards. This is their network, their decision. Exactly. They have every right to cancel his show from their network. This is the statement released from Nexstar. It says, Nexstar Media Group announced today that the company's owned and partnered television stations affiliated with the ABC television network will preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future, beginning with tonight's show. Nexstar strongly objects to recent comments made by Mr. Kimmel concerning the killing of Charlie Kirk and will replace the show with another programming in its ABC-affiliated markets. Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse, and we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located, said Andrew Alford, president of Nexstar's broadcasting division. Continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not in the public interest at the current time. And we have made the difficult decision to preempt his show in an effort to let cooler heads prevail as we move towards the resumption of respectful constructive dialogue. Nexstar knew the risk. They run affiliates across the country, and they rely on viewers and advertisers. When Jimmy Kimmel said what he said, they understood what would happen. Audiences would tune out, and sponsors would walk away. So yes, their statement sounded principled, but the bottom line was business. Nothing speaks louder in television than ratings and revenue. And the truth is, they could not afford to alienate millions of conservative households. And at the end of the day, business is business. Watch.
I mean, you really have to wonder about the future of broadcast television because of this. It's unprecedented, and it's because this is an industry that is dependent on regulation, on government regulation. They get licenses to use the public airwaves, and now they're beholden to the government.
It's also the corporations which own, increasingly it's large corporations which own this, which are particularly vulnerable.
Well, that's why Brandon Carr realizes that's a pressure point, because TV station group owners like Nexstar, the largest one in the country, they are desperate for consolidation. Right now, they're limited to reaching 39% of the country. But tech companies can reach everybody, everywhere. They feel that's unfair. They want to consolidate. They want more stations, and it's the FCC who decides that. Nexstar has to deal with to buy Tegna, and certainly ABC is probably looking at its options in terms of combining stations, swapping stations, buying more stations. They all want to do this. They all need FCC approval, and that's a key reason why you're seeing this.
But it's
Chris Hayes is already spinning this, claiming it's all part of Donald Trump's so-called crackdown on free speech and an attempt to make the First Amendment meaningless. Take a listen.
ABC affiliates announced they would refuse to air Kimmel's show. They say because of comments the late night host made on Monday night relating to the motives of the man that shot and killed Charlie Kirk, wrongly suggesting the killer was part of the MAGA movement. He was not. Nexstar, the largest owner of local stations in the country, came out and said it, quote, strongly objects to recent comments made by Kimmel concerning the killing of Charlie Kirk and will replace the show with other programming in its ABC affiliated markets. And if that were the whole story, he said something, it was not correct, the affiliates pushed back, well, then that would be one story. But that, of course, is not the whole story. Okay? Because crucially, just hours before that statement, Trump's hand-picked FCC chairman went on a podcast and suggested ABC's broadcast license or affiliates could be at risk if they did not suspend or fire Kimmel, essentially issuing an order saying, and I quote him here, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way." Well, hours later, ABC made the announcement Kimmel would indeed be taken off the air indefinitely. And this is just the latest chapter in Donald Trump's ongoing campaign to crack down on free speech, dominate the media, and essentially render the First Amendment meaningless.
Isn't it funny that the left only seems to discover free speech concerns when one of their own faces consequences? ABC and Nexstar are private networks. If a host makes comments so offensive that viewers walk away and advertisers start to pull out, the network is absolutely within its rights to step in. That's not the government crushing free speech. That is a business protecting its brand and its bottom line. President Trump weighed in and posted on Truth Social saying, quote, "Great news for America. The ratings challenged Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on fake news NBC. The ratings are horrible. Do it, NBC. President DJT." Well, you heard it. So where do we go from here? Well, lawsuits are almost inevitable. Schumer and other Democrats are already hinting that ABC caved under government pressure, which raises First Amendment questions. That's going to play out in the courts probably. Will they win? Probably not. If conservatives said something remotely comparable, there'd be outrage, calls for boycotts, advertisers would flee. Yet, for years, late night TV has made mocking conservatives the punchline. Now that they're being held accountable, it's censorship. Hold on. So is it only Democrats that are just up in the wee hours of the night watching TV? Anyways, do you think ABC was right to suspend Jimmy Kimmel? Or was this an overreaction? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But before I let you go, I have to tell you about the new fish discovered. Scientists exploring over 10,000 feet below the surface off the coast of California found this tiny pale pink fish covered in soft bumps around its head and a huge smiley face. Look at it. It's so cute. The bumpy snailfish belongs to the snailfish family, known for living in extreme environments. Alongside it, researchers also described two other new species, the dark snailfish and sleek snailfish, and scientists said they confirmed they were truly new species by using microscopes, DNA sequencing, and even micro CT scans. For the bumpy snailfish, scientists noted its round head, 8 rays in its tail fin, and a suction disc on its belly that helps it cling to rocks or even other animals. The bumpy snailfish may not win beauty contests, but it shows us just how much life thrives in the most extreme places on Earth. And if you've stuck to the end of this video, you probably learned something new outside of politics, so yay to us. Please make sure you like and subscribe to support the channel and ring the bell so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.